Hmm. Hi, mommy. Thank you for the love. Gracias. Oh, man. Everybody joining in, just give me a few. I'll start in a minute. Just let the room fill in. I don't want to be repeating myself. Gracias, mami. Thank you. Genesis. No more comments on that, man. Thank you. All right, ladies that are in here, I had a special request on this in particular question. Ladies that are taken. If you have a boyfriend, husband, or you're dating someone, and he doesn't have a pair of trunks, but he suggests and says that he wants to go to the beach with his boxer briefs. What is your take on it? What is your opinion? What would be your answer? What would be your reply to that? Right? Like, how would you feel and how does that make you feel? What is that thought process behind that? This is for the ladies. Me personally, I think when they ask me in reference to it, I would say dude doesn't have any respect towards this individual. But that's just my opinion. Because she came back and she said, okay, that's what you're gonna wear, so then I'll just wear my bra and thong. And then he kind of reacted. So I see the manipulation and I see control in there. My perspective. But you can have your own. This is your opinion, open free space. Welcome to the... Thank you for everybody that's coming in. Appreciate it. So... Uh, ain't nobody gonna answer that question, huh? Right. So, any ladies that are in here at the moment, there was a specific question asked as a request was, if you're dating someone and you guys been dating for a while and it's serious, what would be your opinion or answer in reference to him not having trunks, wanting to go to the event is going to the beach, and he doesn't have a pair of trunks, but he says he wants to go and wear his boxer briefs? What will be your response? No, no. But I take it like this. My answer to her was not only that, but it sounds like he has no respect, because she came back and she said, "Okay, I wear my thong and my bra. How would that make you feel?" And he caught a hissy fit. I said, "That's manipulation. That's control." But she was like asking. This was on a Sunday, and I just said, I don't know what to tell you, but that's my take on it, right? Like, shows that he ain't got no respect for you. That's it. End of the day. And thank you for the follow, everyone who's following. I kind of see it, but I don't. I don't want my mans. But that's the point from a woman's perspective, right? For me as a guy, I'm flaunting to catch attention. I'm flaunting to either make her feel some type of way. I'm flaunting to make her feel insecure. There's jealousy. Is that in reference to wanting attention from your mate? But it sounds like he wants attention either to get her jealous, or he wants outside attention. So it causes problems, and it's kind of like, if you're dating a female from a man's perspective and she wants to wear her thong and have her ass all out, now that causes a little friction as well, because at the same time, men are going to look, right? But the difference is, men can't take something unless a woman is being submissive and allows it. Men get what they can take. It's not like women have options. Women have options. They decide on what tier they want to be in, right? And it's all about mindset and perspective. How you see yourself is what you portray yourself to be. If that's the way she was presented from the door, then it's something you have to, as a gentleman, you have to accept, or you don't. Everybody has choices at the end of the day. This is what I don't understand. From people who are in relationships. People who are in relationships, hey Yoli, are constantly in frustration, and there's a lot of conflict. That's because no one's speaking up. How are you? No one is speaking up on the other person's end, in the sense of they feel like they're being ignored, they're not being seen, they're not being heard, and they're not being seen, heard, ignored, and they feel rejected in some shape or form. So a lot of times people Why you're not on your live? At the end of the day, it causes a lot of conflict. And the last thing you want to do is have a little dispute with your significant other. There has to be a common ground. There has to be an understanding, and you got to see things from the other person's perspective as well. You got to, I always say, put yourself in someone else's shoes and walk for about a mile. And then you'll understand from their point of view, their perspective, and their understanding. You'll understand them more when you start to try to analyze, perceive, and hello. The moment you lose respect is when everything goes down the drain. At the end of the day, you have no respect. It's over. Oh, stop with the nonsense already with that, man. You're starting to sound like some type of way behind that. And I know you don't, but it's starting to sound like it. Okay, I was having a conversation with someone else the other day. We went through everything. We went through religion. We went through upbringings, growing up. But how you treat others is actually a reflection of how you treat yourself, isn't it? If you don't, first and foremost, it starts with the foundation. The foundation is communication. Then comes the trust. Respect is given for most people, but it should be earned, not just granted. But everybody has their forms, their patterns. I believe that a lot of females and males, the way they approach their relationship is actually, the way people approach their relationship is actually how they approach life, right? And hello, in some shape or form. The way you address someone is actually a reflection of how you address and the way you treat yourself in private. So if I look at you some type of way, it's two perspectives, meaning if I see the ugly in you, it's because I see the ugly in myself first, and it kind of mirrors, and it becomes familiar. It's the only reason why I can identify the ugly in you is because that ugly lives in myself. I started with the worst first, but if I see the beauty in you, is because you know and recognize the beauty within oneself. And that's all comes rooted from the foundation of your upbringings from home. So when you was a child and you came up growing up under your parents' house or grandparents, however they treat you is exactly how you allow others to treat you when it comes to your relationships. And I don't understand why I keep going in this direction. But that has a lot to do with a lot of things. So in reference to me, I'm going to I don't really talk about this, but I'm going to expose it today. We originally from New York. My mom decided to move from New York to LA. She's in California. So my grandmother's in New York. My mom's is in LA. She's in California. I grew up on both sides of the coast. So I understand both cultures. I understand both when it comes to the music, to the sound, to the way they talk, to the way they dress, to the color codes, to all of that. When it comes to New York, it's all about neighborhood project respect, right? So it's two different dynamics, and it's a whole lot of rules and a whole lot of things you got to remember when it comes to depending where you at. So when I was 5, I was with my mom and we lived in LA. So she has everything to do with the whole it's a reflection. So this is where I'm going to answer that. Give me a second, Remy. So this is where everything started for me. I'm 5 years old. My mom, and I don't like to put her business out there, but it looked like my step pops was on top of her on her bed. I'm only 5, so I grabbed the wire hanger. I was hitting my step pops, telling him, get off my mom's. I remember this like if it was yesterday. So I'm hitting him, and then she tells me to walk, to get away. Fast forward. About a week or so later, she tells me, do I want to go to New York? What that started in me, it started insecurity. It started abandonment issues. It started jealousy. It started, this is where it's rooted. So you got to go to the foundation of where all these things come from when it comes within yourself. Face them. People don't know how to face where to start. It actually starts from home. The groundwork starts from home. So it brought insecurity. It brought jealousy. It brought abandonment issues. It brought, I wasn't worthy enough. I wasn't worth it. I not worthy of love. And it brought up, and the only reason why I try to look away is because I'm trying to read and I'm trying to think at the same time, and it throws me off. So if I look away, it's not because I'm trying to focus on what I'm saying. And I didn't feel like I was good enough. It brought resentment for me. I wasn't really angry. Anger came later for me. But at 5 years old, this is what came up. These 8 in particular things, right? So, because now I feel like I'm being rejected by my mom's. She chose a husband over her son. She doesn't love me, so I don't feel like I'm worth it. Jealous because now, and I don't mean jealous in the sense that other people are jealous. My jealousy was the form of I'm fighting for attention. So I come to New York and I start getting in trouble off rip. As a child, I was a big troublemaker. Like, and I'm gonna just give you 2 scenarios just so you can understand what I mean is in kindergarten. This is in kindergarten. The first incident was I stabbed this kid with a pencil, with a number 2 pencil into the chest. Second one was, I'll pick a random one. I remember they told me that I couldn't go. No, I'll save that one for another day. I had if you grew up in a Catholic school, I went to Catholic school for the first few years. When I was in Catholic school, they had a play. Now in this play, there was a thing called, I don't remember, it was like the Christmas thing. So in the play, there was the 12 shepherds, and one kid was to be Jesus. So I don't know who I was. I'm sure if I was I know I was a shepherd. I just don't know which one. I had a staff. So now with the staff, now this is when the play is actually going on. The parents are in the audience. Excuse me. The parents are in the audience. So I grabbed my staff, and I started beating Jesus right in the middle of the play. So I'm beating Jesus because I wanted to be Jesus. So I'm hitting Jesus while this is going on, while all the kids is, right? So the parents are like, oh my God. So everybody's losing it. They grabbed me off stage from the back. That was the last time I've ever been in a play. I was never to be in a play ever since kindergarten, right? I was banned from the stage. So I think I have stage fright sometimes. I think about it and I wonder if I do, because I was never allowed to go back onto a stage because of the record of me beating Jesus. That's because I wanted to be Jesus. But anyway, that's just to give you a scenario of what kind of a kid. There was another incident where the nun, she takes me to the bathroom and puts a whole bar of soap in my mouth, and because she said I was cursing. And she then says, you're the devil's son himself. I spit that bar of soap out of my mouth and I told her, F you and the devil, and y'all can both burn in hell. And that's the type of kid you was dealing with. One more story. In the 3rd grade, so I used to jump on a bus. It was a yellow bus. So that day, it was hot. I walked to the back of the bus. I opened my window. I opened up my book bag. I see all the textbooks, and I said, yo, I'm tired of carrying this. I took a textbook and I frisbeed it. I flung it out the window, and it started landing on people's front windshield on the highway or the expressway, depending on where you're at. But in California, I think it's called the highway. So it landed on the windshield, and all you hear is, and then I said, oh no, another one and another one. I threw all my books. I went home with an empty book bag. My mom was like, yo, where's your books? I said, they're on the highway. Because I was open enough to be expressive with my moms. So I gave her the citation. Because back then, if you get 3 citations, you get kicked off the bus. So I got kicked off the bus right there and then. She beat the living life out of me. The next thing you know, she takes me to the bus driver. She says, you're going to take this kid to school, and I promise you he will not cause you any issues going forward. Give him one more chance, and I'm asking on my behalf. I know he's a problem child, but I can't take him. So the bus driver was like, I bet, whatever. And that's just so you could get an idea, because this didn't stop for a very long time. That it landed me in the streets. But again, it goes from rejection, abandonment issues. I'm fighting for attention. The only attention I got was always negative. So I interpret that negative attention as they loved me in that form. As that was the attention that I only got. Because whenever I did something good, they didn't pay me no mind. It was only when I did something bad that they saw me, they heard me, they knew me. So it's out of the negative is where I operated from. So, and my jealousy is not the type that people become obsessive or possessive over. For me, it was the jealous, like, damn, you're giving that person attention. But it was never outside. It was always home. And then this is where you got to be honest with yourself. Where do you get your insecurities, your jealousy, or these certain negative traits? Because at the end of the day, they come from home. And it's the relationship that you have with your parents. It starts from there. Because that's a mirror, and it's the reflection of the relationship that you have with your spouse currently. So you don't heal those wounds from the past, you can never progress in your relationship in the present moment in time. Because you're holding grudges, you're angry, you're bitter, you're resentful. And you have all this negative emotions attached to your past. And you're going from relationship to relationship to relationship. And they all mirror the same relationship being repeated in a different body with a different face. But it's the same relationship being acted out at the same time. From person after person after person, and you think that the problem is them. In reality, the problem is you. You're the toxic one. Right? Remy, I'm not even going to bring your story up. That's between us. So the relationship that you establish in the present moments in time is because it's mirroring your past. You got to heal, you got to forgive, and you got to let go of all that it's all this negative trash that you carry, and you're dumping it on the next person, and you keep dumping it, and you're thinking it's the other person's fault, when in reality, you got to check yourself, and you got to look in the mirror. Face yourself. When was the last time you told yourself, I love you, in the mirror? When did you look in yourself and look in yourself in the eye and say, I love you? You know, and these are some of the exercises that I started to form into a book. It's a workbook that I'm putting together so that whoever decides to purchase one is going to face and understand where the toxic traits come from, to understand who they become and where it started from, and how to face, overcome, and conquer this. these negative traits that you guys are dealing with. Thank you for the follow, by the way. So, like, I had to check my limiting beliefs. I'm gonna tell you where it started from, and this is at 7 years old. My mom calls me. I'm in the 2nd grade, and she says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be a porn star." She right there and then says, "If that's the route you want to go, your joint is going to fall off. Try again." So now she's meant well, right? Thank you. She meant well by what she was saying, but she didn't know she was putting a limiting belief in my subconsciously. Then she said, "What was your second dream?" I said, "My other dream would be I want to be like Scarface. I want to sell drugs." She said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I want to sell drugs. I want to be like Scarface. I want to buy you a mansion." Because you don't hear in today's world, you don't hear these kids wanting to do for their parents. It's all about for themselves. Generations after me, my generation was the last one that said we want to do for our parents. All generations prior, we wanted to work and purchase homes for our parents. Now in today's societies, all these kids just want for themselves and forget their parents. Two different mindsets, two different dynamics, two different worlds. And a lot of times people try to create a generational line, right? So your kids could be successful so that you could keep your hand in their pocket. That's wrong too, right? Like, you didn't have kids so they could become your business partners or your business entrepreneurs so that you could have your hands in their pockets. That's another form of dysfunction, but no one ever speaks about, right? You want to put the pressure on the kid so he could become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever the case is, so that you could benefit off of it. But you ain't never hear nobody talk about that, right? So the limiting belief started with my mom's off of those two careers. She told me if I decide to sell drugs, that I would be dead or in jail. And this, as a kid, is the only way, 2 ways that I saw out of the hood. This was the only way. Either you a basketball player, a rapper, or a drug dealer from where I'm from. I don't know how to rap. I definitely don't know how to play basketball. I tried, but that's another story within itself. And the third one is to sell drugs or be a porn star. Those were the only ways out. That was the only way that I was going to get out of the hood. So my mom already subconsciously put, hey Laura, you made it this time. She's subconsciously putting a limiting beliefs in me. She meant well. So one day, I came home from the gym. I did a meditation session. I lay down, started doing the breath work, played some music, and then I hear something say, you got to confront your mom about this limiting belief that she ingrained in your mind in order to be set free from it. What? I got to confront my mom? As soon as I finished the meditation, I got up, FaceTime my mom. I said, hey, I always start off with joking around with my moms. Number one, me and my mom have a communication like if she's my best friend, not a mother. I see my mother as a sister more than a mother, right? Because she wasn't really there for me. But she was always there in my ear. She was always there supportively. She was always encouraging me, always spitting knowledge at me. She was the one that told me knowledge is power. But I had came back years later and told her, you know what, Mom, you're wrong. Knowledge is not power. Until the knowledge that you apply and learn from and you put it into practice, then it becomes power. And she came, she was just like dumbfounded because remember, she sees me as that bad terror, that kid that's always out of control, that kid that's always into trouble. She thought she was going to lose me a long time ago. When I was in Cali, there's a story of it was a Thursday, just finished eating dinner. My friends pull up in the car. I'm outside in front of the yard, excuse me. And they're asking me, do you want to go to a carnival? I looked to the house door. I said, what time are we coming back? How long? They said 2 hours. We'll be right back. I get in the car. Them 2 hours turned out to be 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, I can't go home. My mom's going to beat my ass. She is going to break my butt. So I ended up sleeping under the highway. I was so scared to not go home because I know how the beatings I used to get. I was like, I'd rather just sleep on the street than stay and go home. So we ended up going back to the carnival again on Friday. So we were robbing the stores, robbing McDonald's, robbing the 7-Elevens. We were doing all that, right, as little kids. Fast forward. Friday night, my sister's godbrother was going to Vegas. So he already had shown me how to break into the garage. So Friday night, I go, break into the garage. He had 3 sofas. It was 3 of us. So everybody had their own sofa to sleep on. And we slept in that garage Saturday and Sunday. No, Friday and Saturday. Sunday came around and I said, listen, I can't do this no more. I need to take a shower. I need real food. I'm not sleeping in the street. I was only 11 years old. I can't do this no more. Like, I can't sleep in the streets. I walked through the door. My mom looked at me like she saw a ghost. She goes, go to your room. Within 2 minutes, my grandmother calls. Yelling in my ear, and I'm like this. Got the phone, yeah, whatever. She goes, you're on your next flight coming to New York. I said, I win. Because I didn't want to be in Cali no more. So I always had to do something to the extreme to get in trouble, to be kicked out. Remember, I always felt abandoned. I never felt wanted. I never felt I was part of. I was never felt like I was approved. I never was accepted. I was always the black sheep. I was always that kid that was always causing too much problems. So anyway, I get shipped back. But before I get shipped back to New York, my mom tells me the day after, you know, hey, gorgeous. So she tells me, I thought you was dead. How? I'm always gonna make it. She goes, I made a report about you, missing person. I get a call from the morgue on Saturday morning about a kid that got ran over by a train, and they can't tell if that's you. So she had to go and identify the body. She sees the kid, she was like, I don't know if it's him. They told her, you gotta go to the dental office and get his dental records in order to identify if this is your child. From Saturday morning until Sunday evening actually. She's paranoid. Because she has to wait till Monday for the dentist to open back up to get my records. She's thinking she lost me. I think about that now. I didn't think about that then. And I say, damn, I put my moms through some shit. So, fast forward. A year goes by. Mind you, I'm already in New York. She gives me a call and she's like, hey, got a minute? Yo, what's up, Mom? She's like, remember Zach, your best friend? Zach is one of the kids that I didn't run away with, but I just didn't come back home. I was afraid to come back home. So then she's like, yeah, he got shot and killed yesterday. What? So my best friend, the kid that I took off with to the carnival, got shot and killed the day before. And she says, I thank God, and I don't mean anything by it, but at the same time, I thank God that I sent you to New York. Because the kid he was with got shot and killed too. That would have been you. So when I say I dodged death so many times in so many different ways, from so many elements and perspectives and scenarios, it's not as a joke. It's serious. Put it like this. It started off, and I don't count this one. This is not on that list of the 23 times I almost died. But this is one that I don't ever count it as, and I don't think about it that much, but it could have been. My mom was pregnant 8 months with me in her belly. And the guy she was married to hit her. She falls down on the concrete street floor of New York, and he's kicking her in her stomach while she's pregnant with me inside of her. 45 years later, I'm still standing. You know how many times they try to take me out? How many times that target has been on my back? You know how many times I've seen the Reaper and I said, nah, man, you ain't taking me. It's not my time. God has a purpose for me here for whatever. I know what it is, but that's for him to carry out. I'm going to perform when it's my time. But you just got to open up the opportunity. Otherwise, I can't do it without him. And the God that I'm talking about lives inside of each and every one of you. So, I say all that is a lot of you limit yourself. You don't believe in yourself because you all have a divine dream, a divine purpose. You have a calling on your life, and you keep ignoring that call. But yet you think that you are not capable of, you're not qualified for it. But you're only underestimating the things and the gifts that God has already given you. You know, like I've doubted myself personally. Sometimes I'll be thinking like, that's not gonna happen for me. That's just a hallucination. That's just me believing for the top. But in reality, what it is your higher self is having a conversation with your mind, trying to get you to be inspired and motivated so that you can pursue your dream, so you can live out your passion and live out your destiny, because you are a masterpiece, but only designed for greatness. But a lot of people decide to either A, work a 9 to 5. Safe. It's safe here, right? You can retire here. And here you can say, well, if I retire, I have to work 35 years until I'm 63, live for another 5 years if I'm lucky and not drop dead. But yet you put in 30 years into a job, into a career, to only be able to have 2 to 5 years of vacation. What you're supposed to do is the purpose, the passion that's inside of your heart, inside your soul. Carry that out, perform, live doing something that you love doing all the time, every day, and it doesn't feel like work. It's no stress. It's all peace. It's all love. And you do that for 5 to 10 years. And you generate more wealth than you do retiring out of a job for 25, 30 years. But you're so afraid and so scared to take the risk and live on the edge because you don't know it's the unknown. And when you live in the unknown, you always got to be on edge. You're always going to be afraid. You're always going to say, damn, how is this going to come in? How's it going to happen? In reality, that's how the wealthy stay wealthy. The difference is people run away from their fears. That's a poverty victim mentality. Those who are wealthy and rich, strong mind, what's up? They lean into their fears. For you on the other side of fear. That fear, it's a false information. It's been those limiting beliefs, right? Those fears that you have placed in your mind is only the limitations you've placed into your mind because it's a program that's been told to you from movies, teachers, school systems. That's probably the internet. It's true. Oh, look who it is. Where was I? Emily, you're always a distraction. Just so you know. I can hear your voice the way you saying it too. But it's always about how you see, right? Like, for example, there's examples in the Bible and people, oh, here we go. People always look at it from one perspective and don't see the true. You really threw me off. Damn you. Alright. So if you don't deal with all those traumas, the childhood traumas, meaning those insecurities, the jealousy, the abandonment issues, the I'm not worthy, not good enough, that I don't deserve it, I'm not qualified, and abandonment issues, if you don't deal with any of that, how do you think your health is going to look, your finances is going to look, and your relationships is going to look? And the first relationship that's the most important, the most significant relationship out of all is the relationship you have with yourself. But when you live like that, that's a victim mentality. If you don't, that's a cover-up. Being afraid to feel again, why would you be afraid to feel? Like that doesn't, the meaning of life is supposed to live your heart on your sleeve so that you can feel and encounter. What's the point of living in a world, even though it's cold and it's dark, right? That's because your mind, your attention is focused on the dark, so you're going to attract dark. You're going to attract negative. But when you focus on the good, even if you experience bad, you still keep focusing, believing on the good, because at the end of the day, you're going to attract what you become. You attract who you are, right? So if you are a broken person, you're going to attract broken people. See, you hear all these people talk about toxic this, toxic that. It's like, yo, the person you was dealing with is actually a reflection of who you are. That person couldn't have gravitate towards your courts if you didn't have a toxic trait yourself, which is called trauma bonding. Right? So, like, people have this victim mentality, oh, poor old me, but in reality, everything that you experience was created by you. That's how powerful you are. You're the author, you're the creator, you're the director, you're the instructor, you're the driver, however you want to put it. You're the artist, the painter, you're the architect, you're designing it all. And if you're in your healing process, this is the time where you center and focus on you, rediscovering yourself, right? Your identity. And what I mean, do you know who you are? Because a lot of people think that their identity means their titles. I am a PhD. I am a doctor. I am a lawyer. I am a carpenter, whatever the case is, right? I am a... No, 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 no. That's what you do as a profession. Who are you as a person? It takes a long time. I've been on that journey for off and on for 18 years. There was no space, there was no place, there was no one to talk to by the time when I first started. So I started on the spiritual journey at, well, it bounces back, right, for me. So I had exposure in all ways. What defines me. Let me recollect my thoughts on that one. I will always say I'm a God having a human experience from one perspective, from billions perceptions. But on what degree, on what level, what frequency, that's the type of energy that you got to focus on, right? So a lot of people think that your job makes you, your career makes you. But in reality, you make it. You see the difference? You create this. No. Okay, so how did you make you? How did you make you? Explain that one. And if you want to jump on it live, go right ahead. We'll do that. So I'm waiting for someone. How else will you master? You're still dealing with stuff from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, in the present time. And you're constantly evolving and growing and elevating and stretching to new horizons. And you're healing in the process, right? So there's stages and phases, and there's broken parts of you that are constantly trying to heal from the past, right? How do you rediscover and center yourself with you? First, your infinite mind, who has access to infinite. I don't know, but do you ever think about your brain? It's encased, it's enclosed, and it has a hard shell around it that's protecting the brain itself, right? Like if you shake somebody's head, you know that they can become a little slow behind that. Of course, the patterns. And those become habits. So then they become typical. But in reality, you're not. See, everybody decides to be ordinary, when in reality, you were designed to be extraordinary. Ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. So, back to the brain. It's encased, right? It's in here. Your imagination, your thoughts, are your energy. It's engulfed. Whatever you project from your brain, your thoughts with emotions attached behind it, it's how you attract, manifest, create, and experience, encounter, and relive, and react. And that's how you create the world that comes into existence. But you're taught that heaven is outside of you, up there in the clouds somewhere. Heaven is in your mind. Hell, there is no such thing of. Erase that out of your head. Those are false information. Your brain is heaven. So then heaven You know how they teach you that paradise is when you die. Heaven creates the paradise for you to experience here on earth. So you're all waiting to go to paradise to die at something that you're just going to go to another dimension. You're going to just be either come back as another shape, another form, another body to relive and repeat the whole thing all over again if you don't progress, if you don't pass the test. Because life is just, this is the school of life. Everything is a school. However you want to look at it. You can look at it from a games perspective. You're the higher self is the one that's constantly playing the game, trying to control this version of you. Look at it from Neo, from the Matrix, subconsciously plugged into the back of the brain, right? The brain, consciousness, subconscious. Anyway, or you could look at it from Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's sitting and tied into that chair too. They plug his brain in. It's the same thing. That's the truth. But you think that the truth is in the news. Truth is not in the news. But where was I going with that? Your mind is heaven. What you manifest and create is your paradise. As above, your brain, as above, your mind, so below, the earth, paradise. As within, whatever is wired inside of me. If I have a lot of hate, then what's out, everything that's outside circumstances, situations, is going to be hate. It's going to be anger. It's going to be resentment. Anything that elevates on that frequency, that's what I'm going to constantly attract. So if I'm full of hate, I'm going to attract hate. If I'm full of love, I'm going to attract love. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the universe, so is the soul. That's your whole Bible, right in one sentence. But no one really does that research. And that's what you're going to attract. And that's a reflection of your own internal being, your heart, right? So your heart is constantly being mirrored from your heart. You ever seen the Care Bears? Just before I even open my mouth on that, just let that process, right? The Care Bears, what was on their stomach, they projected it out. And that's what they attracted. Isn't that what they manifested? But this is what really gets me, like people don't see the little things. They give you the keys, but it goes right over your head. Those little increments have so much meaning. Go back and look at Transformers is another one. They go from being a robot and they turn into a car. They turn into a machine, a radio, whatever the case is. They could turn into anything. That's the same power you have. You become what you believe. Whatever you believe, you have access to. Whatever you have access to, because you really believe that deep inside of you. That's cute, though. Harmony is a sweetheart with a little spice. That's probably because of the Libra in her. You know, it's just little details that it goes over a million billion people's head. This is why it's only 3% wealthy and the rest of them is, you know, they try to give you this, there's a middle class. There is no such thing as a middle class. Either you up here or you down on the bottom. There's no in between. No such thing. Never did. They make you think that there is an in between. In reality, there ain't. So the moment that you start changing your mind, you just start to change your life. You start to change your mind. You transform your life. And you have all the answers. You don't need to find it in a book. Have you ever sat in silence? I hear a still small voice all the time. audibly for yet forever. It's actually the very thing that has kept me from dodging death that many times. It's the thing that has guided me. It speaks to me. These either are my ancestors, these are my teachers, my guides, or my spirit. When you start to learn how to tap in within who you really are, you start to discover things about you that you didn't realize who you identify with. So if you're the black sheep of the family per se, you're the one that's going to get all the from the past. Now you have to overcome, conquer, and you're the one that's strong enough, able to heal all those wounds from the past. Even though it was dumped on you, you're strong enough to build. You're built enough. You're strong enough. You're built for it to heal not just your wounds, but the wounds of those behind you that were before you. And what you're doing is you're paving the way for the ones coming after you. It's just pouring. Sorry. You're paving the way for those that come after you so that they could go up higher and better and go further than you did. It's really what it's about. It's pouring in New York as we speak. Really bad. Yeah, I'm about to get off in another 5 minutes. I'll put in my deeds. Hopefully it inspired or opened up your eyes a little bit somehow, somewhere. No, I don't. Yeah, I know, Remy. Oh. I know you heard that. I don't know if I should look at rain in the sense, does it purify me when I'm out there, sweaty, but now I have to take another shower? For example, for me, my experiences with the rain, it will pour like that, like a tsunami came down. I will be coming out of the gym, literally, as soon as I step foot out the door. Yes, you know that for a fact. So in my old gym, they didn't put on the air conditioner. So you come out the gym soaked and wet, and all of a sudden I'm walking maybe about 10 feet away from the gym. This downpour comes down. I'm like, are you serious? I literally just walked out the gym. You couldn't do this before or after I got home. So I'm talking about, like, you ever went to the pump and somebody just put the pump in a can and just sprayed it on top of you? That is how I felt. So your sneakers and your socks are all wet. Your drawers is all soaking wet. Your ass cheeks is rubbing together. No, man. So my experience with the rain, no, I don't like it. I'm just being honest. I'm not going to be sugarcoating and being filtered about how I really feel. I'm being honest and transparent. I don't like the rain. I have my reasons. So imagine you skin rubbing. Starts a little friction. Nah, I'm good. I don't like it. But to look at it and to see the lightning, I love looking at lightning. But to be outside in it, no, man, no thank you. I don't like it. And that's the truth. But I hope that inspires somebody out there. You get it, Laura. I'm gonna throw another parade in front across your screen later on. I'm still working on the mastermind course thing that I'm trying to create. No, not really. It just ends up flaring up next week because I don't even trim it anymore. I ain't trim it. They just cut the bottom. I just try to keep it close to my face so it doesn't look like it's out of control. It was looking out of control earlier. The reason why I came out here late, I missed the baby face. Oh no, I'm not doing that shit no more. So like I was saying, I hope somebody got inspired behind that. Thank you. It just sounds crazy. But thank you, gorgeous. Excuse me. I believe that we're all gods so strongly that I got that tatted on me, on my wrist as a daily reminder. So I live with, I was born a king. I'm gonna die a god. I live as a god. So if you want to take it there, those who are religious and want to fight me on it, it says, how's it go? I made you in my own image, right? God created you in his own image. Last time I checked, when a dog gives birth to a dog, it comes out a dog, not a goat. So if God has children, you are children of the Most High. I made you in my own image. But you will get offended because your church teaches you God lives outside of you when God lives inside of you. That's why he says, what does it say? I think it was David that says, to sit on the throne of my heart. Where is your heart at? It's in your butt? Like people think. Read the books yourself so you can be informed and not be fooled. But for the most part, a lot of people are steered in the wrong direction. And that's only for manipulation and control. It's all programs, only designed to keep you in low vibrational frequency so they can control you. But the moment you start to elevate and you raise your vibration in a high frequency, you start to access the Akashic records. What I've always prayed for, but I didn't know how to access it, which is I used to ask for ancient wisdom, and I still do as a prayer. And I still ask for it, right? Because I want to know what no man has known. Steer me in the guidance and direction and what path that's going to lead me on the path that you have prepared for me in order to walk this earth, so that I may never disappoint you. And the one I'm really speaking to is my higher self. God left you in charge. It's up to you to fulfill the purpose, the promise, the destiny, the calling, the assignment, the task. However which way you want to place it and call it, right? But anyway, I think I spoke a little too much. This is the versions that I did not want to expose, but I said no more filter. I'm only going to peel the layers off little by little. Because you got to spoon feed people. You can't just give them a whole meal, because then they're going to be like, wait a minute, it's too much to digest. It just opens your mind and drops a seed in it. Anyway, thank you for stopping by, everybody that did. Appreciate all the hearts, the follows, and the comments. Thank you for coming, stopping by, and interacting and conversing. Hope I was able to put a smile on someone's face, but at the same time, open up a mind, open up a heart, and someone's soul and spirit was able to intertwine with the information that was revealed, that it kind of exposed and made you realize who you truly are. Laura, thanks for the love. And yeah, thank you for everybody that came through. Enjoy your weekend. God bless. Stay safe. Take care.